One thing that's really helpful in challenging times is gratitude. Okay? Gratitude is something that can take us from being angry at the situation to being able to work with it better. And so particularly in challenging times like with the coronavirus, that's really a useful thing to have. But when times are challenging, that can be the hardest times to feel gratitude, which is when we need to feel it the most. So let me tell you a story about how gratitude saved my marriage. So years ago, Kerry and I, my wife, were living out in a little bush shack in the rainforest. And it was a great place to live, like the birds and the trees. It was beautiful. But it was fairly basic sort of bush shack, so there wasn't much insulation. And one winter morning we had to get up very early because we had to go somewhere, and it was freezing cold because it's cold in Mullaney anyway, and we were up even higher in the rainforest in an uninsulated bush shack, so it was freezing. And I'm in the kitchen and I'm just trying to make a cup of tea at the stove, and I'm just filled with outrage. Like, this just seems like an awful thing. Like, to be awake at this time is bad enough. To be out of bed is just intolerable. And I was battling a foul mood, and I didn't realise quite how foul it was until my lovely wife came in. And Kerry's one of those people who's very sort of practical and go-getting, and knows the value of facing life with a cheerful attitude. And when you're in a bit of a mood, people like that just infuriating. And so when I realised that she was annoying me, I thought, oh God, I am in a bad mood. So as gently as possible, I suggested to her that maybe she could go have a shower, and she took up my suggestion with grace and dignity, leaving me with a tiny window of opportunity to transform my mood. Because I knew from my experience that if I stayed in a bad mood, it would just eat up my whole day and it would just ruin it. So I'm there in the kitchen and it's freezing cold and it's dark and I'm tired and I'm thinking, oh God, what can I do? And I sort of opened myself to inspiration, all the things I've done, all the Buddhist meditation when I was a monk, all the yoga teaching, all the stuff I've studied. And what dropped into my mind was this old Buddhist meditation I'd learnt years ago. And I imagined that I was on my deathbed. I was an old man, tired old man, looking back over my life. And when I looked back, I remembered this day when I had been living in the rainforest in a little bush shack with my wife. And I'd woken up one morning and I'd woken up in a foul mood and I'd stayed in a foul mood. And this tired, dying old man looking back, his just automatic response to that was, what a waste. What a terrible, terrible waste. Because from where he was looking, this day just looked awesome, full of all sorts of potentialities and just things that could happen, meeting people and doing stuff and being with my wife, and we were young then. So that did the trick. That helped shift me. I found a sense of gratitude from the perspective of this tired, dying old man, because he just thought, oh wow, what I would give to live that day again. So there I was. I had the chance to live that day properly. And it worked, I still wasn't thrilled about being awake at, some ridiculously early hour in the morning and freezing cold either. But there was enough sort of space. I had enough space. I wasn't like hemmed in like I get when I get angry and annoyed. I could see around me. I could see the things that were actually really nice. I could appreciate them thanks to gratitude. And just that hush you get just before the dawn, that pre-dawn stillness, it's quite unique. And I could see the trees starting to emerge from the darkness as the light started to trickle through, and it's like they were just forming out of the void. I was like, wow. So Kerry came back from a shower, and she said, "Oh, you seem in a better mood." And I said, "Yes, I am." And I greeted her effusively and said, "I have rediscovered gratitude." And she said, "Oh, good, oh, good." And we had a big hug, and she said, "What are you grateful for?" And I said, "My warm hand on your bottom, on a wintry Mullaney morn, dreams dissolving into dressing gowns and snores becoming yawns. Outside the night is dying and being reborn as the day, and inside we're walking around but we're still asleep, and oh God, it's so cold is all we can say. But our bodies are awake and keen to cuddle each other. And so we share our warmth against the cold and we say, this is why we bother. On the horizon, a blaze of orange burns the night to kindle the day, the blade edge of existence scything the past away. Life is here, in the emerging shape of the trees and in the dawn bird's call and cry. And it's here too, my love, in your lusty laugh and that twinkle in your eye. As I look back from this moment down the corridors of time, I can see from before the beginning of beginningless existence, our lives have always intertwined. We were a binary star system that roared in gravity waves of delight. We cavorted as bacteria that learned to feed on light. We were lichen, two different species, more than intimate, intermingled, intertwined. I worshipped the sun and you rooted us to the earth, which you still do, love of mine. One night, this scrap of energy became a 1 in a trillion snowflake, and you were my first ray of sunshine, and I melted in heartache. Or the life when we were black cockatoos, wingtips brushing as we fly, singing our song to the glasshouse mountains, just us in the endless sky. You were a rose and I was a bee who danced upon your stem. I drank in your sweetness and made honey and praise before whoosh, I was gone again. Yep, soon enough it'll be see you soon. As we lose these transient forms, what pair will we make in this infinite universe the next time we are reborn? When next will we feel what it's like to be two humans so close together? In the infinite multitude of possibilities that exist, that could take forever. So after this moment, how long would it take? How many times would I have to be born to feel my warm hand on your bottom on a wintry Mullaney morn?